Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, September 26th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream where we talk about the ES and the NQ on Market Profile. All right, well, let's start today with an unfortunate reality. I could make an equal case for the market to go up, down, or sideways today. And I know the chat just loves that when I'm literally like, it could do anything, but it really could. So let's just take a minute to walk through each one of those scenarios and figure out what they would look like if that's what the market were to start to do. Okay, so first and foremost, we are in a very strong downtrend in the market. That just means that since we broke out of this previous balance area up in here, we've had a lot of momentum to the downside. So the first potential scenario is obviously just a continuation of that momentum lower. Okay, and the way that I would see that, the first sort of signal that would be taking place would be if we get below the overnight low down here at 36.71, and then we found resistance down there. Okay, we could very easily just chop inside of here, inside the overnight range. So I wouldn't really get bearish for continuation of that momentum unless we got below that overnight low, came back up and found some resistance there. If that happens, if we come down to that overnight low, find resistance, the target is testing Friday's low, and then the same exact thing there. Do we push below, come back up, and find resistance? Then that is good for continuation to the downside. If that starts to happen, of course, I'm going to jump on board because there's been a lot of momentum, and the momentum can just keep going. That's the thing about the momentum. You can't guess when it's going to end. You just can't. But when it does, what excess often leads to is balance. So that brings us to door number 2 and door number 3, right? So let's start with the market going higher today. What could make the market go higher? Well, if this was all the excess the market needed, at least on the short term, right? And the market is ready for some balance, there's two ways it can balance it off. It can either pull back up with price to test that previous balance area once again, or we can just rotate sideways at lower prices for a few days, waiting to break one way or another. So the idea is, does it repair this excess? Does it digest this excess with price or with time? So the scenario today for with price, exactly the same as the market going lower, would be if the market is able to get its way back up above the overnight high, which is at about 37.19. If it can get above there, find support exactly the same as with the low. That is good to target Friday's high. And same thing once again, if we're able to get above Friday's high and find support, we can look for a gap fill to the low from Thursday. Okay, so there's a lot of potential here for the market once it gets above or below the overnight range to sort of take off one direction or another. Now, the only sort of downside to this scenario here is if we're balancing off with time, we may just poke up to right there, and that's where we run out of momentum and then go sideways. So let's see what happens. And then as far as, what happens when we're inside the overnight range, you know what I'm going to say. Chop zone, chopping it up. Pretty much anywhere inside this overnight range, I would say at least within this box right here. So between 36.78 and 37.15 in that area, there is going to be absolutely no way to predict the moves the market is going to make. It could spend hours and hours just going up and down and up and down and just continuing to grind around inside this range. So, of course, the first order of business when the market opens this morning, I'm expecting chop. And we're just going to have to wait and see how the market reacts to this range. Does it break higher? Does it break lower? Does it try to get above the overnight high? and then just pull back in, or try to get below the overnight low and then just pull back in. Until we get some sort of signal there, it's going to be chop. And of course, we just don't want to forget that we still have a lot of momentum on the daily. While we chop it up. Let's jump over and take a quick look at the Q. So the Q is literally in exactly the same position. As a matter of fact, I would read it exactly the same way across the boards. So if they wanted to repair the excess with price today, they'd be heading up towards 11,784. With time, they'd probably get resistance at Thursday's low, 11,512. And if they're going to take it lower, they'll break that overnight low and we'll get resistance there. Looks like about 11,260. Okay, so same exact thing as the ES. Look for chop inside the overnight range, and either a break that continues higher or a break that fails of the overnight range will give us a signal of what to expect. All right, the party has started. If you have not yet, please consider pushing that thumbs up button. I sure would appreciate it. Got 140 people hanging out, but only 33 people giving me that thumbs up. You guys are upset. You guys are upset that the market could go anywhere today. You were looking for a little more certainty. No, sir. Not inside this overnight range. It's just chop. All right, so I'm looking for some resistance right around Friday's VPOC, 3707. And for the market to come back down and test a halfback around 3695 as we chop it up. Novice trader. Fair enough. Gotcha. Okay, there's a test of yesterday's VPOC. Also, now we're getting the overnight inventory back to neutral. Good place for resistance to set in. Well, that's what you call a textbook perfect counter auction to the overnight inventory. So they opened here, closed down here, and the first move of the market, boop, right back to where they opened. RK trending day forming. I mean, potentially, yeah. If it, as far as a trend down, like a continuation of the trend, if it breaks yesterday's low, it will be trending lower, and that's certainly possible. But there's going to be a lot of chop between here and there. Alexandra, what do you expect for the end of the year? End of the year? You crazy. How would I know? I could tell you end of this half hour, but not end of the year. RK, I actually meant trending up. Um, you mean intraday a trend up? Yeah, again, sure. As a way to balance off using price instead of time, right? Once we get up into the gap between Friday's high and Thursday's low, that could get us trending really hard. Um, but like I said, it's just as easily we're balancing with time, and then out of nowhere we just start going sideways. So we'll take it one step at a time. Can they get above the overnight high? Great. Can they find support? Great. Can they get above yesterday's high? Great. Can they find support? Great. Can they fill the gap? Great. Can they keep going? Great. We'll just, one step at a time. We'll see what they get. If they can get above the overnight high. Corbin. If you're a loser trader, consider getting a Pirate Tri-Blend t-shirt. It'll change your trading game. 4 out of 5 winning traders get their merch from the Pirate Trader shop. I mean, I can't verify it. I don't have any facts to back that up, but it sounds right. It certainly sounds right. All right. Well, at the moment, we got good taper on the high. Doesn't mean it'll be the high of the day, but if it is, it's good taper. So now we need to head back down to test the halfback for support, 3,700, and see if we have buyers there. Oh man, look, it's one of those times where there's the exact number of contracts again. 178. All right, so here's the test of support at the halfback, around 37.01. Do the buyers step in here to take another poke at the resistance above? Okay, can halfback hold? If we break back through here and start heading back down towards the opening price, the chop continues. And we'll need to look for new support. Yep, there you go. The chop continues. 'Cause it's a chop zone. Oh man, NQ above the overnight high. If it can hold support here, that is bullish for continuation. I would say, really support where it is right now or at halfback 11,403. Either of those as support would be bullish for continuation. If it pulls back below halfback, you're back in a chop zone. Scoop out buyers at NQ exactly at overnight high. They are weak. Could be. It's holding for now, though. So the next target for the Q is a test of Friday's high, 11,473, and see if we can get new buyers up there, or does it just poke up there and then pull right back down? Chop fan should break the overnight high after the NQ just did. If the traders on the NQ are right. Yes, sir. It should follow. But if the ES can't get above its overnight high, well, then that's going to be insights about what's likely to happen to the NQ. Is the NQ forging the path forward? Or did those traders just get themselves a little overly long? Oof, there's the test of yesterday's high. That's bullish. All right, Q is looking bullish here. So you got value overlapping to higher. That's bullish. You got a higher high and a higher low on the daily. So that's a signal that the momentum to the downside is coming to an end, increasing the odds significantly that we're either going to go sideways or higher today and not go lower. You also just pushed above the overnight high, found support, tested yesterday's high, and now you're finding new buyers. So the NQ looks bullish. Next question, can they fill the gap to Thursday's low? 11,504. And then, of course, will the ES follow suit? I also think I'm ready to start calling this when we see it, where we get the exact same number of contracts and they were only on one end as being officially a weak reference. These really commonly get retested. So I'm going to start marking these as weak. Scott says, whoop, whoop, weak as fuck. The higher the number of one type, the higher the weakness. Well, there you go. We just added more weakness then. Went from 8 contracts to 89. Still only asks. To 99, still only asks. Can a buyer get some 37.14, please? There we go. Yeah, it looks like it. Lagarde. All right, so the ticks could give us some insights here. If the buyers are going to break out above the overnight high, they should be able to hold the market above the zero line. They've been slapped down twice now. Is this the one? Can they hold that zero line? Oh. Oh. Nope. Oh, not yet. Market wants to tease us a little bit, bring us right to the edge, and then just tease. What's how you think we're going to break out? Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We are. Nope, nope, nope. Joking. Okay, no, seriously, we are. Okay, well, I hate to sound like a broken record here, but once again, looking for support to take another poke at that resistance. Can they hold it up here in this node of volume at 3706 or at the halfback, 3702? If not, heading on down to backfill that low volume node at 3696. What's it going to be, buyers? What's it going to be? Critique, they're chopping it up. Oop, yeah, NQ's going for the gap fill, targeting Thursday's low, 11,510. They also got the initial balance to the upside, which is a little bit bullish. They have the value area pushing up against the high of the day, which is bullish. They're almost at a gap fill. That's the gap fill. So now do the sellers come in and pull you back down to 11,474, Friday's high. Do you find support there? ES still trying to break the overnight high. Right now, the high is considered weak. RK Collins flapping gums, going to keep the ES choppy. Yeah, I don't know about anybody saying anything, but I know until we get above that overnight high, we can't count on nothing because we're just still in a chop zone. But the odds are obviously much higher now that we will break to the upside because we have a weak high in need of repair. We also now on the ES as well have value overlapping to higher from yesterday, which just in a tiny, tiny way increases the odds that we have an end of the momentum to the downside, at least short term. I'm not loving the exactness of this 3706 level. This is the third time that exact level has worked as support. And you know what that means. Those buyers are short term. And if they're short term, where are they probably targeting to take profits? Not very far away. Geo 3706 is the session VWAP. It's the VWAP traders. Those bastards. Hey, VWAP traders, why don't you let it go below the VWAP and then you buy it, huh? What about that? If you love it so much, why don't you just marry it? If you love 3706. All right, folks. Well, the ticks are telling us something. These buyers have to put in the work to break above that overnight high. Because someone is using this as a level to sell. Joey, when the market puts a lot of time and volume in the upper part of the balance area, we'll call that the chop zone. In and of itself, I feel that is bullish behavior to head further up, same as down. Here's the problem with what you're saying. You're right. You know, the fact that the market opened, we were looking to grind around inside the overnight range, right? And instead, we pushed up to the very upper end of the range, and now we're building support up here, right? We're spending time, we're bringing in volume. So yes, that absolutely does increase the odds the market wants to go higher. Here's where it gets tricky. The look above and fail, right? If you would assume these buyers are targeting the gap fill. Or I'm sorry. You would assume that these buyers are targeting the gap fill to Thursday's low like they did on the NQ, right? Probably they're thinking the same thing the NQ traders were thinking. Well, the problem is, what if they fail to do that? What if all they do is poke up above that overnight high and then they don't get any new buyers up here and it pulls back in? Well, now what happens to all that momentum we've been creating? Before you know it, we're right back down because all these buyers get squeezed. So that's why, yes, it feels a little bit bullish, but you're not going to get me to change the banner. Not in a million years. Not until I see that support above the overnight high, because I've just seen that move so many times, and it's so violent that it will just rip your face off if you're not ready for it. So sure, spending time up here is a little bit bullish, but man, these traders are fixing to get squeezed if they don't get anything for it. That's how a chop zone does its job. Fooling you on both sides of the market. All right, looking to test the halfback here, 3703. Do the buyers step in? Okay, no buyers at the halfback increases the odds. We need to go back and backfill that low volume node. Down here at 36.95, been waiting all day to get some more volume. If we don't have the buyers here to break the overnight high, odds are we have to put the market on discount, looking for them at lower prices. So now the question, does previous support, this area around 3706 that was such strong support, does it now become resistance? It's what we call a flipping of the book. It was resistance, then it became support, and now it's becoming resistance again. All right, there's the break of the overnight high, which is bullish. So now we're looking for support. I would say above like 37.15 up here for continuation higher. If they do find support here at the overnight high, the target is testing yesterday's high, 37.35. Okay, we got some short covering here, but we still haven't pulled back to test the support at the overnight high. More short covering. Okay, internals pointing to uptrending day. Yeah, I would say it's too early to make that call. This is certainly the way an uptrending day would start. No doubt about it. Let's see what happens when we get to Friday's high. Remember what I said earlier, one step at a time. The Lord is here in the chat. Welcome, Your Highness. He says BTC says up. Oh, yeah, BTC holding on by the skin of its teeth, man. Holding on for dear life. And also looks like they just broke the downtrend on the daily. But still, this is just a, you know. Anyway, sorry about that. This is just the beginning of the support here. So now the question is, can they break this downtrend? On the corn, Corbett, your hot pocket has arrived. I'm trying to remember what it is. That's something from Amazon. RK, but you see, by then you've missed half the move, with all due respect. Do you mean waiting for confirmation to break out of the overnight range? That's fine with me. I'd rather miss a trade, miss an opportunity to make money, rather than lose money. And I have learned from experience that guessing a breakout of a chop zone before it happens tends to cause me to lose money. So I've learned from experience, better to wait. If this thing is going to keep going, it's got a long way to go. There's lots of money to be made. Just the gap fill alone from Thursday, is what? 30 points? I mean, you can make your month with a 30-point move. And the chill part is you can just wait. Wait till it pushes up there, finds the support. You can get in with so much more confidence. Grab those 30 points and call it a day. Why guess down here that that's going to happen? Lord clarifying, I'm actually gay, Lord. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you. I do not recommend trading crypto with leverage, but if it's working for you, keep doing it. Daniel, your mic is off. I know. I got nothing to say. Just waiting to see if they've got the support to break yesterday's high, or if we got to pull back to the overnight high. Lord, my problem is I will have high returns, but give some of it back trying to be greedy, still ending up in profit, but it hurts. What hurts more, missing trade opportunities or losing back all of the profits? Laugh out loud. Well, I know for me, I can answer that question very easily. I'd much rather miss an opportunity to make money than to lose money. Because there is no upside limit to how much you can make. If you miss this trade, you can always just get in on the next one. But when you lose money, you're losing the capital that you have to battle with, you know? You're losing resources. So that is much more precious a loss than a psychological loss of just missing out on a chance to win. The more time I spend day trading, the more I come to the very simple realization. The name of the game is not worrying about your winning, but instead worrying about stopping yourself from losing. The profits, they always take care of themselves. It's the losses that'll get you. All right, well, we're printing the C period here. So first thing, we've left behind a set of single prints down to the A period high. So the base of those single prints is 37.15. So that increases the odds the market will need to come back down and backfill them. But then you can look for support there. That would be a great place. You could consider that as good as support at the overnight high. So if they find support there, I would look for the market to come back up and try to test yesterday's high at 37.35. And I would say pretty much, not finding support there would mean pulling back down into the overnight range, which would increase the odds that we're heading back through the opening price. So at this point, they really need to find support in here. Otherwise, they're likely to pull back down once again. But if they do, look for the momentum to the upside to continue. If we can get above Friday's high, 37.35, and there's new buyers there, it gets very bullish very quickly as we're in that previous gap. So a gap fill from 35 to 63 is very doable if we can get up there and find support. Otherwise, it'll probably be a sideways balancing day. That's really the question now. We've spent enough time. We've brought in enough volume. We know they don't want to take the market lower today. So are we just going sideways? Or are we looking to repair with price and we're heading higher? With that, I bid you all farewell. I'm off to hang out with the cool kids in the brigade. And we'll see you all here tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. Brigade members, let's ride.